Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Bleeding Cool Chatter Comics, where we talk about comics on the comic book site. Imagine that. I am Kaitlyn Booth, the head film writer here at Bleeding Cool, and I am joined by Jeremy.
Hello, I'm Jeremy, and I write about collectibles for Bleeding Cool.
And apparently Steve Rogers.
Hello, I'm Chris Evans. I'm really handsome. I'm Josh Davison, head comics person at the comic site of the Bleeding Cool.
With the thing and the stuff in the comics. And
you are so eloquent. Thank you for that.
It's my English degree talking.
Well done. So I'm guessing by the action figure that I saw that we are talking about Captain America.
Yes, we are. He's a capsicle again.
Again?
Yeah. Okay.
Of course they did.
Yeah, and he went back to World War II and he danced with Peggy.
Damn it!
Damn it!
Oh, poor Haley Atwell.
Oh, I love her.
That would have been a hell of an issue if they would have done that. Anyway, continue, Josh.
So this time around, and I will also say that when I saw they were doing this, I was like, oh no, what is going on? What are they doing? But it's more of a plot segue than you'd think. It's not a big thing of like Cap's on ice again and like a few issues with someone like people trying to thaw Cap or something. It's just the image of like Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes, like a little blowtorch, just like, come on, heat up.
Well, they're dead.
Wait,
yeah.
what?
Well, we don't know that. We know that, but we haven't gotten there yet. I was proposing an alternate story that it's just like the other Chris Evans character, Human Torch, just like, whoosh, come on, we're trying to melt. This has gotten off the rails.
Rein it back in, buddy.
Sorry. But yeah, so at the end of the last issue, the new Hydra, not Hydra Rampart, froze Captain America after Cap and Kraven the Hunter reenacted a most dangerous game. And he wakes up in an undisclosed time in the future, which is actually kind of a part of the twist, so I won't say when, and it's Skynet but with rich people. The world it's been blown to hell, or at least some of the world has. And Cap meets up with some survivors who are trying to get by. But it's Captain America, so he's not just going to sit down and let oppression happen, no matter when or where it is.
Of course.
Which is one of the things we love about him. And so, yeah, and that's pretty much the premise. I'll let Jeremy take over in talking about quality.
It's pretty high. I've been enjoying the legacy issues so far. Mark Waid's not my favorite person, but he can write a good comic book when he wants to, as opposed to his current Avengers run. And Chris Samney is an American treasure, and he should just draw every comic book because he brings so much gravitas to like every panel, even if it's just a panel of like some weird explosion amidst some buildings. It's like, oh my god, that's so beautiful. I would totally die looking at those buildings exploding because I'd just be standing there if it looked like Samney's artwork.
Samney was God.
Yeah, but I mean, this creative team has done an amazing job on every book they've been on, so it should be no surprise that it's an entertaining book. They wrote a great Daredevil run. They did a fantastic.
Wait, was that the Daredevil run like a long time ago where he was in San Francisco?
Yes, when he was wearing. Yeah, he did. Waid and Samney were on Daredevil for a few years, and it's what got me into Daredevil. I
remember those. I think I have those. Like, I got them like really cheap on Comixology.
They're really good.
But they did that, and all the Marvel relaunches just meshed together in my brain. So
Yeah.
after Daredevil, they did a run on Black Widow that was very good.
I think I read that one too.
Yeah,
I read the Bucky issue.
There was lots of Bucky in those. So I know both of you approve of that. Yeah. And then, I mean, so when they were announced that they were getting together again, and I was like, well, the only book that I would kind of really, those are only two books I would want to see them do. One is Thor, but I'm enjoying Jason Aaron's Thor so much that I didn't want them to be taking that over because it means that's ending. Or I think they're the team to repair Steve Rogers after the stupid Hydra Cap stuff. And, of course, they announced them for Captain America, and I instantly became excited. It's just a perfect pair for the character. It can't get much better. What is happening?
Sorry, I was trying something. I have all three caps right here, but you can't see it because it's just below the camera, so I'm sad.
Okay. And it's one of the more enjoyable books that Marvel is putting out right now. So that's all I gotta say. Also, even though it takes place at a time in the future that Josh doesn't want to mention, there's a lot of dead heroes not around, and I'm a little worried that it's gonna be. I don't know how they're gonna send them back, but I'm kind of worried about it.
Mm.
To that, in that regard, to kind of jump off that, I'm imagining they're going to be doing something really big for 700, so I'm not too worried that. I imagine they're probably going to send him back pretty quickly. I don't think it's going to be, what was it, Dimension Z with Rick Remender and JR that lasted a year.
Also, at the same time, like in 2 issues, we know that it's still in the future, and he's caught between Hulk and Thing fighting.
Well, that's next issue.
Or is that next issue? Okay.
Yeah.
But so I don't really know what the rules are for this future verse thing. And I just worry that it's going to peter out because the rest of the run so far has been like one and done stories with an arc throughout, and I've been enjoying that. So I'm a little like uneasy about a multi-issue arc like this, but I'm hoping they stick the landing.
I definitely think this might have been just the perfect creative team for Cap as well. And even though I was still a little apprehensive at the beginning because it seemed like it was a little too safe, given what they just got through.
But that's what
yes and no.
As a comic book retailer, I'm telling you, that's what they needed.
Yeah, but I'll just say that I definitely see your point, and also that this issue, I don't know, this kind of paid heat to a little. Well, him punching white supremacists, that was still like the Rampart is a white supremacy group. So the fact that he's still doing that, kind of paid heed to my worries too, because for some reason that ideology is kind of making a resurgence right now.
Punching neo-Nazis in the face, yeah.
But this issue actually gets a bit less safe. It is, as Rich wrote earlier, and I'm going to pair it a little bit in my review that I think is publishing tomorrow. It does get political and like surprisingly pointed and timely, which is honestly what I think Cap should be. He's Captain America, and my train of thought petered out a bit there. It still feels, one of the things that Wade and Sandy have been doing really well with this Cap is that every story does feel like an old one, like a Grunwald story from like the 70s or 80s. And this one, it still felt like that. It maybe the jabs at certain economic systems that are ruining everything wouldn't have really been happening back then. But it would have been probably something akin to, again, white supremacy or totalitarian governments in a more general sense. But it still would have been something like this. It might have just been him being sent to an alternate dimension where, I don't know, Nixon was elected for a third year. Or something like that. That's a original Secret Empire reference, as well as a Watchmen reference, I guess. But it definitely, they're doing a really good job of making a very classic Cap comic. And again, Sam needs art. It's perfect for that. brings that old comic aesthetic with some new comic sensibilities, and I dig that.
Yeah. I don't think we really have anything bad to say about this one.
Oh wait, no, I got one. It's what is it that she keeps calling him? Bomb.
Oh, Bomb Pop. Yep,
Bomb
you know what?
Pop.
You're right. And once it was fine. It's like that. Shake it once, that's fine. Shake it twice, that's okay. Shake it 3 times. Mark Waid, you're playing with yourself. And he shakes it like 18 times.
I was thinking something like Spider-Man 2099. This is shocking stupid. There's one moment though that doesn't really spoil anything, but I gotta talk about because it's one of my favorite things to happen in a Cap comic in forever. When he he's still not sure when this time period is, he tries. Wait, so did Kaitlyn drop out?
Yeah, we're just gonna keep going.
All right. When Cap doesn't know what time period it is, and he's like, there was this old document. It was called the Bill of Rights. I know it by heart. I can write it down for you. I'm like, that's amazing. That is one of the most Steve Rogerist things to ever happen, and it just made me smile. It was so great. It's like, of course he does. Of course he knows the Bill of Rights by heart. They're here on First Amendment. Yeah, that was fantastic. And it was there's other than just making fun of Bomb Pop. The King Baby name. That was like, wait, really? That's the totalitarian leader? And then I thought about it for a second, because that name kind of elicits ideas of someone who's petulant, immature, and selfish, probably complains about...
I have no idea who they could be referring to.
Probably complains about fake news a lot and throws temper tantrums on social media.
It's enough about Jude. Anyway. So go buy Captain America by Wade and Sandy because it's awesome.
Fantastic.
Where can we find you on the internets there, bud?
Being impatient and selfish and petulant on Bleeding Cool, and writing about comics, and also doing the same on Twitter at Josh Davison Bolt.
Cool.
And you? And
go ahead.
You? Wait, what?
Go ahead.
And you, Mr. Ohio Konrad.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. You can find me writing about toys and such on Bleeding Cool. You can find me on Twitter at Jeremy Ohio. You can read Katie's movie stuff on Bleeding Cool as well, and find her at Katie's Movies on Twitter. And with that, we're going to go.